to praise you like I should. I have to praise you. I have to praise you. I have to praise you. I have to praise you.
We've come
one
a long way together.
All right, let's do it.
Through the hard times.
Hopefully they turn on our way.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. So this is a fireside chat with Kieran, which is actually my first time I'm meeting him in real life. I've had the good fortune of, full disclosure, I'm an investor in Illuvium and one of the more exciting projects. So anyways, I think, welcome Kieran.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
So what you just saw there was the first trailer of the open world of Illuvium, right?
Yeah, so part of the auto battler, part of the overworld, yeah, which was probably, I think that came out in December.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey of starting Illuvium, what you want to do there, and what really just sparked the idea.
Yeah, so Kane, as you know, Kane, my other brother, he started Synthetics, which is another crypto protocol. He really pushed me to get back into crypto. I was investing back in 2016 in Ethereum, and I stumbled upon a game inside of crypto, and I was like, whoa, this actually allows you to have verifiable ownership of your assets. That's what gamers have been wanting for years and years and years. If you think World of Warcraft, you've got people that generate all this gold, they have nowhere to sell it, so they do it on eBay and stuff. And I was like, this solves everything. The only issue was there were no really appealing games to me where I went, this is something I would play. So then I went to my two other brothers and I said, let's build a AAA game. Let's do it.
Yeah. I want to touch on this idea. There's been recently a lot of criticism on Web3 gaming. It's not sustainable. It's not fun. It's just DeFi with a veneer, gaming with DeFi, gamified finance and yield farming. But that's not really a game. You've been really vocal about what you want to build. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So the issue right now with GameFi or crypto games, whatever you want to define it as, is they're not built for fun. They're built for earning. And the earning part of a crypto game needs to be the ancillary part of it, right? It's first and foremost, it has to be fun, has to be immersive, has to be addictive. It needs to be replayable to the point where people are streaming it, like the type of games that mainstream gamers are used to. Fortnite, World of Warcraft, that level of fun.
Yeah. How do you compete against the Fortnite?
You need to have a lot of funding, which luckily, thanks to you and a bunch of other VCs, we got that. And that allows you to build a big team. So we've got just under 200 in our team at the moment, which is one of the biggest teams in crypto in general. But that's what you need in order to be able to build out a proper immersive game that can actually compete with other AAA titles out there.
Yeah. And how, so tell us a little bit about the journey. So you launched the private beta a few months ago. Tell us how that's going. Private beta 2 is going live today. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so private beta 1, that was the first time that we actually demonstrated the product. We had a lot of people, a lot of naysayers saying the videos that we were showing and whatever were not real. There's not real in-game footage and stuff like that. So private beta 1 sort of dispelled all of those myths, and people were like, wow, these graphics that Grant has been so adamant about, they're real and they're playable. It's an auto battler, so we're competing with the likes of Teamfight Tactics and Dota Underlords, which are very, very big games, hundreds of millions of players. I would say private beta 1 was maybe 30% of the way there. Private beta 2 is probably 60% of the way there. So we're not at that AAA level yet, but once we go into private beta 3, which has PvP, and we can add yield and tournaments and stuff like that, I honestly think that at that point we can compete with the likes of League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics.
And what does that roadmap look like? So what's the grand vision for Illuvium, say, in 2-3 years' time?
Yeah, so we're building an interoperable blockchain game. So that's what the power of blockchain gives us. And so right now we have 3 AAA games that we're building. We've got Illuvium Zero, you've got Illuvium Overworld, and Illuvium Arena. And all 3 of those games are interconnected. And you can use the same assets, port them into each game. You don't have to play all 3 at once. You can play just one of them if you like. But the journey over the next 6 months is basically getting those 3 games polished and ready for launch. And then after that, that's when we start adding more games into this universe. And the key thing is they're all interoperable.
Right. We do talk a lot about interoperability in crypto a lot, which can be taken to extremes like a lot of things in crypto.
Yeah.
But I like to think of the analogy here as Nintendo. As a franchise, as a game studio, they built, so many games and then bundle it all together in like Super Smash Brothers. Where you had characters from Mario Kart to a bunch of other, and just, so is that a fair characterization of what Illuvium is trying to do?
Yes, but instead of you needing to buy Super Smash Bros. And buy Mario Kart, and you need to buy each Nintendo game that comes out in that franchise, in Illuvium, you can use the same asset in every single game. So, for example, we are thinking about Mario Kart was one of my favorite games growing up, same with my brothers. And we are thinking about doing a racing game, like a cartoon racing game. You'll be able to take those characters that you capture in the overworld and literally walk over to the racetrack and port your character in, and you'll be driving around with your friends in a Mario Kart style game. And it's still in the same universe, the same game, and nothing changes.
Yeah. We're definitely what seems to be a crypto winter now. But you nonetheless keep building.
100%.
And so how do we go mainstream?
We have to build fun games. That's the first thing. But the other thing is we can't have barriers to entry. That's been one of the biggest issues with the current crypto market, crypto games. We need to have, in our case, we've got a non-custodial wallet solution, which we're building in, which essentially is a fancy way of saying you can play our game without knowing anything about crypto, without knowing that you're owning these assets. And then whenever you feel ready, you can literally click a button and migrate, and that will create your own wallet, and you'll own those assets. And unlike games in the past and mainstream where, you got to go to eBay and stuff like that to try and sell your assets, it's all dodgy. We've literally made a marketplace for people to sell these assets. We encourage it.
Yeah. And I guess like on that point, when can we expect to see that version of Illuvium where you have these two kind of parallel games?
That will be on launch. Not during the alphas and beta periods that we've got going on now. When we do our full launch, that's when you'll have that experience where it's 3.5 billion gamers. There's probably 2 million Web3 gamers. Mm-hmm. So the funnel for bringing the people through without any of the crypto jargon, that has to be there on launch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just don't get mainstream adoption. It's too scary.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think about like the Fortnites of the world, Nintendos of the world? Do you ever think that they come into Web3, challenge what you're doing, or do you envision maybe doing partnerships with them or integrating them somehow?
I absolutely think that as soon as you give power back to the people, in this case, the players. Let's take Pokemon, for example. If you're out there and or Pokemon Go even, right? You've got these people who are hanging off bridges, trying to capture these rare characters that they don't even own. Mm-hmm. If there was a game that came out, which was similar to Pokemon, where you could capture these creatures and own them, why would you go back? And so that transition of power back to the players is going to be what drives the developers to go, okay, well, at this point, now we've got AAA games that we're competing with that allow this, that it's such a better experience. Mm-hmm. We have to merge over. If we don't, we're not going to last. Yeah. I truly think, now this isn't going to happen next year or even in the next few years, but 10 to 20 years from now, I think every single game will transfer to being blockchain.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about hiring developers in the team. I mean, you get to a team of 200 in a span of a year and a half, 2 years is impressive.
It's insane.
But I think would love to understand what kind of people are you hiring? Building a game takes a lot of time. It's not like, forking code and doing a DeFi protocol. I mean, as much as I love DeFi, but I think the current crypto users don't appreciate building a game takes a lot of time. So how do you, I'm curious, what kind of developers, creative, I mean, it takes an army to build these games. 100%. How easy is it for you to convince them to come and join a team like Illuvium versus going to...
We've gone after experts. To be able to build a AAA game, you realistically need about 1,000 people in the studio. That's the first thing. The only way to get around that is to literally hire the best of the best that have worked on games like World of Warcraft. We've got multiple guys that we poached from Riot and, these Ubisoft, all of these guys, Nintendo, and we were able to do it. Luckily at the start, Grant, our art director, and my brother, he was one of the best modelers in the world. And so he was able to use his brand to go out to these people and say, look, I know it's crypto, I know it's crazy, but I had to convince Grant at the start that it wasn't going to be some sort of scam and his brand was going to get... So he knew, and once he was convinced, we were able to get probably our first 20 hires were just like top tier AAA engineers, artists that we had. We even got marketing people that were, top tier. And once we had that base of 20 guys where it's like, okay, if he was building League of Legends and now he's come over to Illuvium, there's got to be something there.
Yeah.
And so it's gotten easier over time, but it was one of the hardest things. And that's why it's so, you see teams that are like, we're building a AAA game and we have 20 people, because it's not easy to convince people.
Yeah, I think the common denominator is really smart people want to build on hard problems. And it's really exciting. I think gaming as a category is probably the most fast scaling businesses in the world in the history of, and I think it's what takes us mainstream. So I know we got a minute left. For everyone out there in the audience, if they want to get started, they want to play Illuvium.
Yep.
How do they do that?
So
can
they
do it today?
need to go to the Discord. You can go onto the website. It's illuvium.io. You want to register for the beta. There's very limited spots to get in, but as I said, it's launching. Private beta 2 is launching today, so definitely register. Register. Try and get in that beta. And if you're not in that beta, just join the Discord. Follow along. Grant leaks everything that we build, like literally every piece of art, every piece of animation. It's all in the Discord. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and go check out Illuvium.
Thanks, guys.